Hello all, and welcome to tonight's beer review. I'm not even sure why I say hello all, or why I even still record these. And then I haven't uploaded them in a couple months. I guess I like talking to myself, I suppose. Working late at night, I do a lot of talking to myself. I'm a graveyard shift security guard now. Fun. Anyways, tonight we are going to be reviewing Merrymaker. This is Samuel Adams Gingerbread Stout. 9.0 ABV. Pretty heavy. Special ingredients: cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and ginger, obviously. And hops are East Kent Goldings and Fuggles, so definitely old world English style hops. Let's read the label, shall we? Lively and festive with a devilish streak. This rich dark brew entices with the aromas of the holidays, hinting at the merriment and spices within. The flavor of gingerbread comes alive, beginning with a smooth sweetness and heartiness of dark roasted malts and a touch of wheat. But it's the intensity and spices of cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and ginger that add a wicked kick to this jolly, playful brew. At Samuel Adams, we love experimenting. This series of limited edition brews represents some of our favorite small batch creations. So, been letting it, it's all condensated right now because I've been letting it warm up and don't want a stout that's too cold. Pleasant. Definitely a nice winter warmer smell to it. Boy, it is thick. It looks and pours like used motor oil here. And, ooh. I guess I overpoured it a little bit. Don't want a head like this, by the way. So, pitch black. Really pitch black. Let's see what it's like up against the light. Here. Just a slight bit of light in the bottom, so pretty much as opaque as a beer can get. With a medium brown head. Pretty dark brown, this head here. Lovely bready smells. Obviously, number one smell is, of course, gingerbread. You smell that ginger, cloves, backing up those roasted malts with a sort of dark breadness. It's very sweet. Is hitting all those lovely winter warmer notes in the nose. Other than the added spices, there's also hints of currants in there. There's forms of dried fruit. Still a little bit too cold from the way I'm feeling it here. Head is definitely sticking around. This is just a lovely smelling beer, by the way. It smells like Christmas. So why is it under sweet stout under the style guides rather than winter warmer? I have no idea. Probably because of the malts or hops used. Well, that answers that question. It's very sweet. But definitely seems to be residual sugar rather than lactose because it doesn't have that sort of milk stout creaminess on the mouthfeel. Still very creamy, but different from the milk stout, and instead of coating the tongue, feels almost chocolatey. It's very sweet. The finish, there's residual bitterness on the tongue, but what you smell is bitterness, ginger and spices, in the ephemeral, in the There's a lot of sweetness in there, but there's not much cloyingness because that sweetness is backed up by this really heavy roasted malt presence, which really makes it seem like gingerbread. It's very thick mouthfeel, by the way. Almost viscous. Quite a bit, surprisingly, quite a bit of carbonation for a beer this thick. Definitely a lot like a winter warmer with a much more thicker roasted malt backbone. But other than that, a lot of those sort of adjuncts of cinnamon, spice, fruit. There's a lot to suss out there. When you drink it, it's just a flavor explosion and sensory sort of overload from start to finish. There's a lot of layers. There's the really thick mouthfeel, the sort of roasted malts on the tongue, and then there's that sort of more ephemeral sort of, my vocabulary is starting to go. Stuff that rises up here, the vapors. I use the word all the time too in other reviews. I don't know why I'm blanking on it right now. Interestingly, despite the high alcohol level and thickness, not really the least bit boozy at all. Anise, black currants. It really does taste like a cross in between like a fruitcake and gingerbread. So one thing that sort of stands out amongst all that is sort of ginger, especially in the finish. That's where it kind of comes in, spicy. In fact, ginger almost gives the hops a run for its money. I would say, hops are just there providing that sort of residual lasting bitterness in the finish. But there's also, it's really competing with that sort of ginger spice and snap there. Where you get the most sort of gingerbread, or really is like in gingerbread, is in the mid palate there, where, it all comes together. Well, I gotta say, this beer is really something. I'd say it's far more impressive to me than Fat Jack, which is their Halloween pumpkin ale. This kind of, I'm guessing the heavier malts is what really does it there. Heavier malts and the addition of ginger to that usual sort of holiday spicing here of cinnamon, nutmegs, cloves, and ginger. Definitely smell, and they definitely get those spices in the nose and in the mouth, and a whole bunch of other things as they got that interplay. It's really complex. It's really alcoholic, because it's slapping me upside the head right now. And it's very well made and very well done. So if you like, these super dark stouts, if you like winter warmers, if you like those nicely spiced beers, if you're just a fan of winter beverages in general, this is one of them. You can't beat the price that Boston Beer Company goes and puts this up. This is about $6, $6.50 here in Hawaii. This is probably about $5 for y'all in the mainland. And one bottle of this will probably make you good for the rest of the night. Honestly, if you're one of those people who intoxication is part of the appeal of drinking alcohol. So, definitely go and get yourself a bottle of this Merrymaker Gingerbread Stout. It's a real winner. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.